Okay, today we're making a mixed bean and grain salad. Um, I'm going to add 3 or 4 ingredients that are not in the recipe. Feel free to add them if you have them. If you don't have them, that's okay. It's not gonna ruin the recipe. Um, this recipe is a little bit long, and you should divvy it up in 2 different stages, right? Uh, Stage number one. Hopefully, yesterday you soaked your beans and your lentils. I believe I sent an email about that. Um, but stage one is going to be cooking the grains and prepping the vegetables, and then step two will be mixing the salad and getting ready for plating it. Ingredients that we're going to need for today: the chickpeas soaked, the lentils soaked, your barley, um, your pasta. You should have about an ounce and a half of orzo pasta. I think some of you guys got a chini e pepe, which is an even smaller pasta. Uh, your leftover red wine vinaigrette from your chef's salad, okay, and your sun-dried tomatoes, which should have been in a little piece of plastic. You got 2 of them, and then ingredients that I'm adding, and I'm frankly adding these because I want to show you the versatility of the salad. Number one, but number two, they're leftovers from other projects that we've had. I have some red onion leftover from my spinach salad. I have a cucumber leftover from my chef salad. I have some chives and some parsley leftover. Okay, and um, some of you guys have got Roma tomatoes, and some of you guys got 5x6s. And I feel like I have a bunch of tomatoes for my salsa, so I'm using one of these tomatoes. And then I'm going to use the zest of one of the lemons that I got. Okay, um, things that you should know about cooking your grains. Um, I understand that you have four different things to cook. If you have 4 pots and you want to cook them all at the same time, feel free to cook them all at the same time. If you only have 2 pots, then cook 2 at a time, and then go to the next two. I would cook the lentils and the chickpeas first, as those are going to take the longest period of time, and then I will cook the pasta and the barley in the next stage. Things that are important: if you're cooking lentils, you should basically poach them. You shouldn't have a lot of bubbles going on there, okay? And you should cook them slowly and taste them. It should take about 15 to 18 minutes, somewhere in there, um, until they get soft. If you soak them, they'll get soft fairly quickly. If you didn't soak them, they'll take a little bit longer. Just know that they will go from being cooked perfect to mush in about a minute. So you want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on what's happening there. And then when you cook your pasta, actually when you cook your pasta and your barley, make sure you have plenty of salt in there. Your pasta should be at a rolling boil. You should have more than enough water to cook your pasta. So don't try to cook your pasta in a little bit or in a satay pan. Like, cook it in a tall pot. Have lots of water. It has lots of salt. It should taste like seawater, right? Because some of that water is what's going to go inside of the pasta and inside of some of the grains, and season them from the inside, right? Know that when you're cooking beans, that we don't put salt, so make sure that you're not putting salt on that water. And once we cook them and they're ready, we're going to drain them and then place them on a tray. I'm actually going to use my same mise en place sheet tray and lay them as flat as I can, and I'm going to put them in the refrigerator and let them cool down for at least 30-35 minutes. Okay? So what I'm doing right here is I'm cooking my grains, and I'm going to fabricate my vegetables. I have my gloves on because none of this food that I'm going to cut is going to get cooked. And then we should be ready to go in a little bit. Okay, I'll see you in about 30 minutes. Hey team, apparently this last 10 minutes we're not recording. So I have a completed green salad here with no more ingredients for footage, right? So I figure we just talk about it. All my grains were cooked. I cooked the beans, the chickpeas, lentils, barley fairly low. You want the chickpeas and the lentils to be in the same texture, where they're still together, but they're super soft. They're not grainy. Your barley is gonna have a chewy type texture. So when you cook it, it will almost feel like wild rice, where you would still have some spring to it. It's not hard in the center. It's soft, but it's still chewy, right? And then our pasta was al dente, and I cooked that in high heat with lots of salt. Make sure that that happened. I had all my vegetables already cut up. I have a medium dice of cucumber, kind of a julienne of onion and tomato, and then I cut my herbs fairly small. And things that I was talking about while I was doing the demo was how heavy do we dress this salad? This is a bound salad, right? Like potato salad, pasta salad, this grain salad. They're all bound salads. They're bound by a dressing that barely have any greens, if any. Okay, and I basically dressed it fairly heavy. It's always better to dress these salads a day ahead of time, and have them ready to go. So your grain or your pasta or whatever, or your potatoes really soak in the marinade or whatever dressing you're using for them. And then after I mix it all up, I zested my whole lemon in there, salt and pepper. I was fairly aggressive with my salt and pepper, and I tasted it various times. And once it was ready to go, I had a bowl. I look like this guy right here. I plate it in the same manner as we plate compost salads, right? Or green salads, or any food really. The goal is to have some height, so we make sure that we pile as high as we can. Not necessarily for all of it, but salads in specific, or most dishes, you want to have a little bit of height and some height difference between foods. And then we left some negative space, so although it looks really high and it's a bunch of it, it still has some space in between. And it's seasoned well, and it's ready to go. This will last in your refrigerator. I'll say it's beans, so I treat it like it has beans, so about 5 days. It's a really tasty salad, and it's a really filling salad. You can substitute vegetables, whatever vegetables you want. You can substitute dressings with whatever dressings you want. But this is a perfect example of a balanced salad. Remember, we have green salads, which are salads that are usually leafy greens with a dressing and maybe some garnishes. Then we have composed salads, like the chef salad we made a couple of days ago, and that has protein, but is laid out in a very systematic way. And then we have a balanced salad, which is some or no greens, but it's not the main ingredient on your salad, and all the ingredients are bound by a dressing. All right.